Hey guys, Buffin Gaming here, bringing back another video for our weapon conversion series, and today we're going to turn the GRAU 556 into the SWAT RFT from Black Ops 4 as well as Black Ops 2, or in real life known as the SIG Sauer 556, which is the Americanized imported version of the SIG SG550 series assault rifle by the Swedish Army. So go ahead and build this from scratch, show you the recoil patterns, and get into some live gameplay. Also be sure to stay tuned for some giveaway information for your chance to win a $35 gift card to your console of choice. So back out, you see the final design here, pretty closely resembling the SWAT RFTs, especially with the handguard. So we'll go ahead and back out and strip this down to base, where we have the SIG SG552 Commando. So the key attachment here is the barrel, and we can actually build this to be a very good run and gun weapon. We're going to want the Archangel barrel, which is the longest barrel that you can get for this weapon. And again, it's the one that most closely visually represents what we see with the SIG Sauer 556. Hopefully in the future we'll get a blueprint for the Nexus blueprint here, the Nexus barrel here, to give it more of a Picatinny quad rail on it to more closely resemble the 556. But for right now, this is the best we can do. So that's the good thing about this, is it's going to make this weapon very accurate. So the 26.4 Archangel is going to give us damage at range, bullet velocity, as well as recoil control, with the con being ADS speed and movement speed, which we're going to make up for elsewhere. So go ahead and put that on. Now the laser, what we're going to do here is select the tac laser, the pros here being ADS speed, aiming stability, and aim walking steadiness, with the con being that it is only visible when you're ADSing. So if you're just careful about when and where you ADS, so if you're aiming at down a lane, if you want to aim at a wall so you're not visible, the laser isn't visible to all the enemies, that's a good idea too. You see me doing a lot of that in my gameplay. But again, this is really going to increase our ADS speed and our stability, as well as just our overall movement. So we'll go ahead and put on that tac laser. Now the optic, this is personal preference. Personally, I've been playing around with in multiplayer and liking the 4x flip sight with this. Is going to give us that standard 1x holographic sight, as well as the 4x flip sight there. And the only con here is that the ADS speed, but we're going to make up for that elsewhere, so we don't need to worry about that. So we'll go ahead and put that on. Now stock, we're going to keep the base stock here. We're going to go ahead and skip out on the perks. And then the rear grip, we're going to use the XRK Void 2. So this is another one that's going to help us with our ADS speed, as well as our sprint to fire speed, to make this a more viable run and gun type weapon. Now the cons here being the aiming stability, as well as recoil control. We can go ahead and accept those because we're making up with it mainly with the barrel that we put on this weapon. Ammunition, you have some attachments here you can swap in and out. I think I always recommend higher magazine count with this weapon because of the high rate of fire, but if you're careful with your shots, you really shouldn't need it. The underbarrel I find is very useful here. We're going to want the Commando foregrip for the recoil stabilization, as well as the aiming stability, with the cons here only being movement speed. So again, this is really personal preference elsewhere. We've made up for ADS speed enough, but I picked this one mainly because it gives us the recoil stabilization and we're not taking a hit for ADS speed. Another option here would be the Cronin Shark 2, but I don't really think you need aiming stability with this weapon the way we have it built. So you could also go ahead and slap a Ranger foregrip on there if you wanted to, but I think I'd rather personally not take the ADS bump to this, since we've made up for it so much, and this weapon is very slow at base. So I think we'll go with this one, is again assist with recoil stabilization and aiming stability, and we don't really need to worry about the movement speed because we've made up for it elsewhere. So this is the final version of the SWAT RFT from Black Ops 4 and 2, or the SIG Sauer 556, which is the Americanized imported version of the SIG SG550 series of weapons. So SIG Sauer had some American parts needed to be put on the weapon in order for it to be sold legally in the United States. So that's where SIG Sauer came in, and they don't sell this weapon anymore, but it is no longer on their website. But again, this is the SWAT RFT from the Black Ops series. So here you can see the final design for the weapon. And again, we've gone into this in a lot of the videos. The entire lower of this weapon, the lower receiver, is completely ambidextrous. We see the foldable buttstock here on this weapon, and then the charging handle there on the right hand side of the weapon, as well as where the tac laser is. Instead of on top, we have the Picatinnies on both sides, as well as the bottom of the weapon. Again, it's more of a free floating M-lock type barrel that we have on this particular weapon for the handguard. So this is the weapon. Let's go ahead now and get in game and check out the recoil control for this, and then we'll get in game and see how it handles in game against bots. Okay, now that we're in game with our SIG Sauer 556 with the SWAT RFT from the Black Ops series, let's go ahead and check out the recoil control on this. So I'm going to let this just rip, and we'll see where the recoil pattern is not controlling it. And again, very good recoil pattern here, basically straight vertical with a slight deviation to the right. So if we try and control this now, You can see they're very, very accurate. Very little bullet spread. Let's try it once more. One more time. So you can see shots are very accurate, specifically at range as well. If we try this again, we'll take off the flip sight there.
Low ammo.
So obviously you're going at range, you're going to want that flip sight on, but it is going to really affect your recoil just a little bit. You can see with the slight deviations we have here with the horizontal, and then when we take it off, we have pretty nicely accurate shots here, all center mass, with just using the holographic one-time sight. So again, you barely even need to control it at that. And then you see here, very accurate weapons. So this is the SIG Sauer 556, which is the civilian American imported version of the SIG SG550 series, with the SWAT RFT from Black Ops 4 as well as Black Ops 2. So let's go ahead now and jump a game and see how it handles in-game against bots. And in this gameplay, you'll see me using this exact same setup on Crash. And I was actually very surprised how this weapon handled. We've done a lot of conversions with this new weapon so far. And the one version I did already with this barrel was the SIG SG550 sniper variant using this Archangel barrel. And in that video, I'll link below, I noted that it was a very slow weapon. The mobility was really bad, and you needed to use this with overkill, with a secondary on this weapon, because you're going to move very slow, and it's really meant to be used as a DMR. But with the attachments we have on this weapon here, by utilizing the tac laser as well as the XRK Void pistol grip and some of the other attachments we did to really mitigate that mobility as well as the ADS speed and really bump those up. Now this is actually a very, very surprisingly good run and gun weapon that I've been able to use pretty effectively online, especially in maps like even Shoot House 24/7. Some of those playlists where we get into Shoot House and core game modes, I'm able to run a gun with this very, very well and compete with the M4s and the MP5s out there. So it's a very good gun, very, very accurate at range is the good thing about this. You can go ahead and use that flip sight and put shots downrange at full auto and not really have to worry about controlling the recoil too much. And you're always gonna get shots on target. As you saw the recoil patterns, even when you're zoomed in with the flip sight, you're gonna be very, very accurate at range, and that's the good thing about this, the barrel that we have on this with Archangel. So again, this is based off of the SIG Sauer 556, which is the civilian Americanized version of this weapon, which is again the American imported civilian version of the SIG SG550 series, which we've been covering in this weapon series. Also, as we discussed at base, it is a 5.52 Commando that we discussed. So let me know what you guys think of this weapon. I think this is a really good. I was actually very surprised how well this works in game, because using this for the sniper video that we did, I was convinced I was never going to use this, especially the setup that I was initially using with this one online with that barrel. And then switching it up and trying it again, it's actually very, very effective. I've seen some people actually, after I started playing with this, take off the stock in general, and I'm sure that will assist with your ADS speed and your mobility even greater. But personally, I'm not somebody that's going to ever take off a stock in the weapon. I think it just looks silly, to be honest. If you try to fire something in full auto like that in real life without a stock, the recoil would just be out of control. So I prefer the aesthetics of the weapon with the stock on there. So I think this is a really good option. Let me know what attachments you would switch in and out compared to what I had here, and how you run this weapon. I think, again, very, very good weapon, and I really like the way it handles. It's quickly becoming one of my favorites. At the beginning, when this came out for Season 2, I was really convinced after I leveled it up all the way I wasn't going to use it again, and now I find myself sticking with it and going back to it over and over. I think it is actually a very good weapon. Just a little low on damage, but with the setup, especially here, it is very, very accurate at range. So I think it competes almost with the accuracy of the M4, obviously just minus the damage. But let me know what you guys think. Also, for the giveaway, all you got to do is look in the description below. You got to be subscribed to the channel, and then like and comment on all 3 or at least one of the videos that I have in the description below for the, I believe it's the SIG SG550, the 550 Sniper, as well as the LWRCI SMG 45. So go ahead and check those videos down below. You just need to be subscribed to the channel and comment on one or all of those videos. What you're liking about Season 2, what console you are would be helpful for me, even though I'm going to get a hold of you afterwards. So go ahead and let me know what you like about Season 2, what you don't like, what you want to see coming for attachments, different weapons down the road. Are you excited for Battle Royale? Anything like that. I just want to gauge how you guys are feeling about Call of Duty Modern Warfare right now in its life cycle, as well as Season 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys just with the gameplay here, see how this handles. It's as I said, a very, very good gun. One of my favorites so far. I use it quite a lot online. I'm really hoping they put back in realism mosh pit. I've been playing, you see here, this is obviously against bots, and typically when I do a lot of these videos lately, I like to get into a realism gameplay for mosh pit and play it, and they took that out for Season 2 and put in realism ground war, which I'm really not a fan of. Then going into the core modes for the game, not a really big fan of that. I just think there's a lot of campers and a lot of the meta, like M4s with no stocks, and the MP5s are just everywhere, so it's not really, I'm not having a good time playing those modes, so I'm really hoping they bring back realism mosh pit. It's just, the whole dynamic of the game seems to change in those realism 6v6 modes because there's no minimap. You need to rely solely on your sound as well as what you can see, and there's no visual cues, no HUD, and again, it is one-shot headshots. So hopefully they bring that back soon so we can have some more enjoyable multiplayer gameplay, but until then, we'll just jump in with some bots and maybe some core game modes or even some hardcore here and there. So let me know what you guys think. I'll be picking a winner for the giveaway most likely later this weekend or very early next week. I have to travel this weekend, so I'm going to be unavailable, trying to get some videos up for you guys, and I will be in touch again on social media. All the links down below as well as the Discord. So let me know what you think of the SIG Sauer 556, and until next time, Buffer Gaming, out.
Requesting recon.
Copy. Jaguar 3-0 en route for personal radar coverage.